Welcome to How We Met. I'm Sheryl Strich, and every month I get to interview two couples who tell their story about how they met. Today's episode, we have very interesting couples. One has been in a long-term marriage, and the other are newlyweds. We're going to start with the long-term marriage. Welcome Victor and Eileen Ettinger. Eileen's on the National Council of Jewish Women Board and also on the Reformed Temple Education Committee. She takes a biography class and she creates amazing masks. They're both members of the Reformed Temple of Laguna Woods Village. Victor is vice president of the Temple Endowment Fund. He's a member of the Guys of Leisure Luncheon Group, the Men's Afternoon Discussion Group, the Great Decisions Discussion Group, and takes several Saddleback College online classes. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
I always ask 3 questions. And the first question is, I guess I didn't tell you about this beforehand, is where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And I'm from Queens.
Oh, and you're from Queens, so
I tried never to go to Brooklyn.
This is like a mixed marriage.
I moved to Queens when I was 10.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so, all right, so it's not such a mixed marriage. Okay.
No, not at all.
How long have you been a couple?
A couple is 61 years, and we will have been married in July of this year for 60.
So I wasn't wrong when I said it was a long-term marriage.
Long term.
Okay, and how long have you been in Laguna Woods?
Since 2016.
Okay, all right. Now, let's get started. How did you meet?
It all began, for me at least, when I was in my freshman year of medical school. I went back to my college for homecoming, and I had an automobile accident, and as a consequence, the insurance company gave me the money back, and I took it and bought a car in Europe and traveled around Europe. And periodically, I would go to places that I had learned about in college. And I went to a place called Ravenna, Italy, to see the Byzantine mosaics, because that's what I had learned about in art history. And I heard some people speaking English, 2 young men, 2 young women. The young men took off, and I went to speak to the young women. And Eileen and I went inside to the church, and we found out that we lived 15 minutes away from each other in New York City.
Wow.
And I had traveled the year before to Israel and worked on a kibbutz for a year. And I wanted to go back to Israel that summer and then go to Europe, which is what I did. But I was thinking about it last night, how I traveled by myself for 2 months. It's just remarkable. I would never do that now.
When we're young,
yes,
we do a lot of things that we wouldn't do now because we're smarter
and,
now.
So I flew to Italy, took a boat. Took a boat to Israel, came back, and then traveled through Italy.
Right.
And I met a young woman at a hostel named Harriet, who wanted to see the Byzantine mosaics. I had studied them, but I'd forgotten about them. But we went and wound up sitting next to him at the church, waiting, I think, for a service to be over, and it all started.
So your mother must have been so happy. Here you're traveling around all over the place, and you came home with a husband.
Right.
A doctor's husband.
Wait. So I have a question for you. Did you take a leave from medical school after this accident?
No, it was surprising because they don't do that anymore. But I had a summer vacation between freshman year and sophomore year.
Okay.
And that's when I had the accident and took the car to Europe.
Oh, how convenient.
Oh, yeah. Very. There's a Jewish word, beshert.
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
It's meant to be.
Okay, so you met in the Byzantine chapel, and then what happened? Then you had this travel person, and you were by yourself.
He had a car.
And you had a car. Oh, and you had a car.
And Harriet and Eileen were going to Venice. And so I said, instead of taking your rail train, come with me.
Oh my God.
Right.
And
right.
we drove up to a beach on the Adriatic, and Eileen went swimming, and she had a bun on top of her head, and she took the bun down because it was wet and it was down below her rear end, and I immediately fell in love with her hair.
That's all.
So we spent the next day, the three of us, in Venice. Harriet took off for Spain. Okay. And then the two of us went to Vienna and spent 3 days together. I had a tent, and so we spent the time together in my tent, and she took off for Spain, and I took off for Germany.
Okay, and then did you meet up again in Europe?
We made up to meet again in Paris.
Ah, and you still had the car.
I still had the car.
So
It was interesting, though. We took a trip to Versailles, and I wanted to take a picture with her camera because it was better than mine, and she didn't want to.
I didn't want to waste the film. I had very little film left.
So we took a picture with my junky little brownie, and that night when I came back, my car was broken into because it was a what was it? Anyway, it had a cloth roof.
Oh,
and they slit the roof.
It was a convertible.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we have no picture of our encounter.
Oh, it was your camera that was stolen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eileen.
What can I say?
And fortunately, somebody found my passport and my tickets for the plane to come back home.
Did you bring the car back?
Yeah.
Oh, so the car was brought back to the United. It was an American car?
It was it was French.
Oh, French. Oh, okay. So and then you went back to medical school, and you,
I was teaching.
and you were teaching.
I was teaching in Manhattan.
Okay.
And he was going to medical school in Manhattan. I had a car, he didn't. So he took my car, and he would pick me up and take me to Manhattan to my school, and then he would go to his school.
Okay.
And we spent most of the time every day together after getting back in the States.
So did you go back to your parents, and you had
Yes.
your own? You both.
I was living with my parents,
And you were
too.
living with your parents while you were going to medical school. How interesting. Okay, and then it took a year later.
I proposed to her. We met in August of '64. I proposed to her in September. In December, she finally said yes, and we got married July 4th, '65.
How nice.
Yes.
How wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
And when was your first daughter or son? Was
Our
it
first,
daughter?
we
Your
have
first-
two daughters,
two daughters
and a son.
Right.
And our first daughter was born in 1968, our second daughter in 1971, and our son in 1975. So he is going to be 50 this month.
Okay. Wow. Did you stay in New York after you got married?
Yes, because he had to finish medical school.
Okay.
And what did we do after that? You have to help me with that.
After that, we actually lived in a place called Shrub Oak, which is northern Westchester County.
Okay.
And I would travel down to, no, that was when I did my residency in internal medicine. In between, I was in the Navy for 2 years.
Oh my. Okay.
And I was stationed in Quantico, Virginia,
And
at the Marine base.
Where you went with him?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And were you teaching also?
No, I wasn't teaching. But I think I started doing my artwork
Okay.
around that time.
Okay.
And which I've carried around with me all the years.
I'm just curious, you have a studio in your home, or are you using the art studio here?
I have a back porch, which I converted half of it to a studio for myself.
I know people who've done that. It's very convenient.
It is.
Very
and
nice.
And we have open windows, and I look out and see the birds and the squirrels.
And she's not doing ceramics anymore.
No.
So she doesn't need the kiln. We had a kiln. We just actually gave it away to a neighbor.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And now she does paper weaving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I didn't send you a picture of that.
You didn't
though.
say, only the masks.
Only the
But the
masks.
mask is going to show up. The masks are going to show
yes.
up.
The masks were my outlet to let out my anger and my fear after 9/11.
Oh, okay. Now, you guys were out of New York at that point.
We
No.
were
Around 9/11.
we were in
Oh, yeah, yeah,
California.
no.
We were in California.
We were in
and
California. We
then-
came to California in 1972.
Okay.
And we were in Bakersfield
Okay.
in 2001 when
Well, yeah.
9/11
they are not happy faces.
They didn't, yeah,
They're not happy faces.
Right.
But that's what came out.
Right.
That's what. I'm glad I had that outlet.
right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what brought you to Laguna Woods?
retirement. I was in Bakersfield, as I said, for 19 years, and Bakersfield and Fresno in the Central Valley has the worst pollution in the country.
Right.
And my lungs were beginning to get significantly affected. And I was tired anyway, trying to work with the medical system, with insurers, with the government, with pharmacy benefit managers. It wasn't any fun anymore.
Right.
So I came down and continued doing my telemedicine until 21, as I said.
Right.
And then I just totally retired.
Which
But we
is-
came down here to retire.
Which is very nice.
Well, Laguna Woods is a wonderful place to live.
Don't you find you're busier now than ever?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I certainly am.
Right.
He's much more.
I was a loner prior to coming here, and now
He's a joiner.
in so many groups, it's just incredible.
Right. Right. I know.
I've become a social person.
Are your kids surprised at how you've turned around? How busy you are?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think Eileen is more surprised than my kids. But
My kids want me to babysit at times, and I just don't have time for that.
Oh,
how many shows do you do?
How many shows I do? One show a month. And then I interview two couples. And the show is on twice a week for a month.
But you said that you also do the Trading Post.
I do the Trading Post once a month. And yeah, and I'm on Debbie Dotson's show. I give the I'm the dumb sidekick on her show, on Tech Talk.
She does technology, Debbie.
Right, right.
She's
Yeah.
very smart.
Well, anyway, this is really very, very interesting. Is there anything else you want to tell me before we have to wrap it up? Because we just got the 2-minute warning.
well, I just have to repeat that I love Laguna Woods.
And I'm really happy you're here because I see what you're doing for the temple, and it's really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm enjoying myself too. I'm living a life that I never anticipated.
Right. I think we all are. So it's really special to be here.
I'll say one more thing.
One more thing,
Growing up
sorry.
in New York City,
Right.
with all the concrete, I love the greenery
Right.
of Laguna Woods.
Right.
It's wonderful.
Right. It really is peaceful. I do like that. I do like it a lot.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on. This was really fun.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Okay, well, our next couple are the newlyweds, Elvie and Martin Rosa. Elvie is still working. However, she and Martin go to dances and performances at the PAC, along with hosting an Indonesian Bible study and potluck every Saturday. They also play golf and pickleball. Martin's the GRF first vice president. He chairs the ITAC committee, broadband, and the disaster preparedness task force. Welcome. I hope I got it right.
You did.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for coming on. And as I said, you're the newlyweds. So I always ask 3 questions, and it'll be pretty easy.
Sure.
Where are you from?
Ooh.
Oh,
Me?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Where are you
I
from?
came from Indonesia,
Okay. Where in Indonesia?
in Manado.
Okay.
Manado is close by Philippines.
Okay.
It's just like maybe 1 hour with the boat.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. And Martin, where are you from?
First of all, thank you for having us, and we really appreciate it. And where I'm from is from Michigan.
Oh, Michigan.
Yeah, I
Well,
lived
that's
the
very
first-
close to Indonesia.
Yeah. Lived 42 years there in the Detroit area, and got tired of the weather and came west.
I understand that. Yes, because I came from New York many years ago, and
There you go.
Yeah, the weather can't be beat. Okay, and how long have you been a couple?
Going on 3 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was June of 22 where we met at Clubhouse 5,
Ooh,
which, you know, there is
there's
romance
hope. There's
to be.
hope for everybody.
There's hope for everybody. Yeah, I was not expecting to find Elvie there, but it was one of those boomer dances that, and Elvie was a guest of a resident, and we were out there dancing, and we just got to know each other, and our first date was to see the fireworks at Newport Beach on the Back Bay.
So you met in June.
In June, yeah.
Okay.
And we just had a splendid time and kicked it off and and we got married in July of 23.
So you've been married for 2 years.
2 years, almost 2 years, yes.
Okay. How long have you lived in Laguna Woods?
I've been here all 3.5 years.
Okay.
And yeah, Elvie's been here, about 2.5 years, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, you kind of blew my next question, but I'll let you give more information. How'd you meet?
Yeah, oh boy, jumped the gun on that one. My apologies. Well, you tell the story a little bit more, you know.
Let's hear your version.
From your perspective,
Let's hear
how
your
was
version.
it?
Let's hear
Yeah.
your version, Elvie.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's just, it was the dance. First time we danced, I think there was a connection.
Yeah, I was dance with a couple girls.
Yes.
Yeah, because I like to dance with a couple girls. We
Right.
just dance around and then I saw him. He came and then couple girls around, and then he just came because I think I'm the only Asian that time.
Okay.
And then he came and then he asked me to dance. He asked me to dance.
So you just broke into this group of girls and
Yeah, I just plowed my way in. But I mean, everybody out there is just so cordial and friendly, and it's just such a pleasantry when we have these dances that, what's great is everybody is uninhibited.
Right.
Get up and just move.
Right.
And that's the splendor of it, that we can do that, and everybody out there moving, and you get to know people and you enjoy each other, but this was a special connection
Yeah.
in that sense,
I just thought of something that I'm going to have to bring up in a little while, because I want to go on with this.
Sure.
But so you spent the rest of the night together.
Oh, first evening? Oh, no.
No, I meant dancing.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, we kind of like, she went her way and I went, but I was looking across the room to see, what she was doing and who she was talking
Elvie,
to.
were you looking across the room?
Because that time, I feel like I just go there for have fun.
Right.
I don't mean like to go there to look for for somebody. No, I just have fun to dance.
Right.
But what was really cool is that I'm talking to some friends at the table, and that gal is quite interesting, and then I see another gentleman walk up to her and ask her to dance, and she refused.
Oh.
And it's like she didn't feel like dancing. And I thought, wow, this is my chance, okay? It's like, and so we go up and I ask her, and she said yes. And it's like, for a second dance, and it's like, okay, I'm special, okay.
You are special.
But yeah, it began there. Then the trading of the phone numbers, and and then
Well,
yeah.
hold on. How you traded phone numbers, and then how soon did you use her phone number?
Ooh, good one. I got to think about that. I'd say it was within the first 3 days.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
And because it was like near the end of June, and I knew that, 4th of July is coming up, and there's fireworks, and so I said, let's get to one of these and get to know each other and talk, and we chose to go to the Newport Beach, Back Bay.
Okay.
And it was perfect, sitting there in chairs at the beach, at the Bay Beach.
Right.
And I mean, those fireworks going right off underneath. It's like, this is a special moment, This is a special moment.
Nice. Okay, and then how did it progress? I mean,
Oh my, that's a good, it just like then we
you thought this
started
was
to
going to
have-
be a slam dunk.
started
No,
to
I'm
have
asking many
dinner
questions.
dates, and what was great is the honesty
Right.
that was right away, because at our age everybody has a history, right?
Right.
And so you want to understand each other, and but also put your best foot forward,
Right.
and a new relationship, that's what occurs, and we just began to hit it off in dating, and it was probably within a couple of months we realized this was pretty serious, and I know that we were looking for something committed. Both of
Right.
us were, and we decided that it was best to let's tie this knot, and let's make this the.
So, were you married within a year?
No.
It was about a
Can I-
year.
Can I tell you?
Please.
Can I tell
Yes,
something?
of course.
When I met him, and then I planned to go to Indonesia.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, you went
So
for that
I
family
went
reunion.
to my family reunion for one month.
Yeah.
So when
She left the country after we met.
Yeah, after we met. And then when I went there, we contact by FaceTime.
Yes.
When we
What's
talk
that?
by
Yeah.
FaceTime, and then I was with my family in the hotel, and then he called. When he called, my oldest brother's there, and I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to introduce, because my brother, he look at me, who you talking with? And I said, I'm going to introduce him to my brother, because my brother is like, if I do something,
Very protective.
I feel like, oh my gosh, my brother right there. I'm going to introduce him to my brother or not, my brother, because he keep asking me. I was single that time,
Right.
And then he said, when I look at his face, and then I feel like, oh, okay, maybe I'm going to introduce him to, and then I give it to my brother, and then that time I feel, I don't know what my brother going to say. When he talked with my brother, and then I see his face, I saw his face. Oh my God, he's kind of like, he like him.
Oh, great.
And then good sign.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, I feel like start that time, and then my brother asked me that time. He said, he's a good guy, and then the way I met him, and then we talk on the phone. He's kind of like he's a good guy.
Oh, nice.
So after when I came back, and then we
Our
continued.
first big trip was we went to Europe.
Oh.
And we saw 30 countries in 10 days.
Oh.
One of those.
Okay.
But it was fantastic. Got to see some terrific things together. And
you traveled well together,
yes, we did.
which is even more important.
Yeah,
Right.
really, yeah, because some couples, they can't, and
Right.
they'd rather. But at any rate, we knew that it was like our first time that, spending multiple days together.
Right,
It's like,
right.
okay, and we saw that there was definitely some good
Connection.
things there. Yeah,
So this should be pretty clear in your memory, but what was the wedding like?
the wedding.
Was it here in the United States?
It was well, we had two ceremonies.
Okay.
We had one right here at Laguna Hills Justice of the Peace.
Okay.
They had a group of family and friends here. That
Right.
was, there's a couple pictures of it
Right.
here in our show and tell book. And we went down to the Waldorf Astoria and had a nice a lunch.
Okay.
That it was fantastic. And then Elvie and I, we loaded up the car and we headed to Vegas.
Oh,
And we did a couple of nights in Vegas and just walked the streets and had a great time, and it was wonderful. And since then, like over the last couple of years, we've been to Indonesia twice.
okay.
And
Did you have a ceremony in Indonesia?
well, yeah, when we got to Indonesia, the family really wanted to pull us together, and so we had this huge flamboyant thing. They do things big there. I've seen so much since meeting
Right.
Elvie, and I just the wonderful person that she is. We have a close faith connection that helps us, and we enjoy. It's just like it's getting better and better, and there's hope for anybody and everybody in Laguna Woods. That you never know.
That's right. That's right.
You never know.
I got the 2-minute warning 7 minutes ago.
Oh, no.
No. Just a few minutes. I just got the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
And so we've got to wrap it up. But I do want to thank you guys for coming on, because I've been curious about this. I've known you for a while. You were even on my other show.
That's right.
That I was just remembering. Did you know he was an actor?
Yeah, we did that. That was
Anyway,
fun.
it's been great getting to know you. And thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you very much.
The carnival is coming to town. The Pickleball Club Adult Carnival is a fundraiser for our firefighting community. The carnival will be a blast. Horse racing, ring toss, darts, great raffles, fun prizes, and tasty food. $25 cash entry fee, food, raffles, and GRF bar are extra. Support our firefighters. Sunday, June 8th, Clubhouse 1, doors open at 5:30.
If you'd like to come on to the show, email us at lwvcouples@gmail.com. Include your name, phone number, and email address, and brief description of your story.